What up, gamers? We are back with some more Lantern Control. Oh my gosh, I wrote Lantern Control versus Lantern Control. Guess who? It is not Lantern Control versus Lantern Control. Let me see if we can fix that. That's so good. It's Lantern Control versus Prowess. Oh my gosh. Can you see how my brain was not working when I did the editing for this one? Hey, we're back with some modern action, and let's see if I can do some fixing of this here. I don't think I can, but well, let's see what we can do. But yeah, so this might be the last Lantern Control. That's what I was trying to say. Is this might be the last Lantern Control game for a while. We've got lots of other games in queue for you all to be able to enjoy, of course. But this is one that's like, you know, recorded a couple weeks ago. Been playing a lot of other decks lately. We've been playing some Esper Blink. We've been playing some Infact. So we've been playing kind of a lot of different decks. So, you know, it's going to be interesting to see when the next time we decide that we're going to play and battle it out with Lantern Control. But I like the deck a lot. It is a ton of fun. So let's see about fixing that for everybody's enjoyment. Maybe not enjoyment, at least for my peace of mind here. So let's talk a little bit about these decks while I'm doing all this behind the scenes stuff that you all can't see. But the way that this is set up is the Prowess list is, you know, we've seen it on camera. It's been a while since we've seen it on camera, but it is kind of, I'm going to cantrip, play a lot of spells in a single turn, and then we'll be able to just kind of burst and go like an aggro game plan and try to take our opponents out very quickly with explosive turns. So it is one of those fast-paced adventures there like that. All right, let's get this. You guys get to see a little bit of the behind-the-scenes adventure here. Now let me add some text. Let's see. Izzet Prowess. Let's see. I don't think I have the right text on this for that, but that's okay. You all can see. All right, we'll do it. There it is. There it is. That's the one I want. And make it bold. Bam. You're like, oh, what the heck? All right. Izzet Prowess. Make that a little bit smaller. There we go. Okay, hey, we did it. We got through it. Did we miss anything important? Not really. Here's what you've missed. Our Lantern Control player was able to kind of set themselves up with their normal tools, which is that Lantern of Insight that allows both players' libraries to be revealed. Codex Shredder was able to get played, so we can start to manipulate the top of our library or our opponent's library. So it is very important tools to get set up here. On the other side, our Prowess player was able to kind of plot and plan ahead for a slick slot show off. So that's that kind of impending power that's going to be coming out. Basically, we're setting the Prowess player setting themselves up for a really good explosive turn. Snaring Bridge is going to come down, which is going to make a big difference. But right now, there are, what, 3 cards in hand, I believe? So it does check the base power. Now, this is not necessarily a great card against a Prowess deck, because if you've ever played against like an Infect deck or a Prowess deck that really cares about doing some pumps during combat, you can be like, all right, I'll swing in with this like 1/2, all right, or this, you know, let's kind of swing in with this creature, and then I'll do all my cantripy stuff in combat and get you. All right, I've killed people with Noble Hierarchs before in combat, fighting against, you know, this kind of ensnaring bridge plays where you go, oh, okay, well, you have no cards left in hand. Well, my Noble Hierarch happens to be an, you know, an 0/1, so I'll swing in. There's the Exalted trigger. Here's all the pump spells. Let's kind of finish it up. But we do see Slick Shot Show Off, one of the main reasons that the Izzet Prowess list is so powerful and kind of came back, had a resurgence recently. So we are going to be seeing kind of the pump and dump of spells here. And and we'll see how big and scary that all these creatures are going to get here. So yeah, if you guys are enjoying the content, consider subscribing, following along. Of course, we do have our paper gameplay every Monday and Thursday, and then, of course, our sprinkling of MTGO content on the weekends. We are getting prepped and ready for our travels because we've got 2 big travel days coming up in September. Of course, for Commander Sealed up in Rochester, so if you're going to be going to that, awesome. Hang out. Let's play some games together. And, of course, MagicCon Atlanta. We are also going to be having a special day on Saturday at MagicCon Atlanta where we're going to set aside some of the tables in the Creator Central location and be able to play Modern. So we're, of course, going to be bringing a bunch of our decks. So if you do not have a Modern deck and you're at MagicCon Atlanta and you want to learn the format or borrow a deck, please come and play some Modern with us. We're going to let you guys be able to borrow our decks and do some filming, recording up. It'll be a ton of fun, but that's September stuff. Right now we're still in August, the time of recording. I don't remember where this is in the release schedule though of when we because again we've been going through lots of our content. We've still got plenty more to go, lots of games and a lot of cool matches in queue for you to be able to watch. Like we've got some Sultai food shenanigans coming up, some Esper Control, some of course Eldrazi-tron. We've got some Mono Blue-tron that's going to be coming out in the near future, some Infect. But let's get back to this match here. So we're starting to see the kind of build-up of the prowesses. And this is that kind of window of how big and scary can you make things. All right, no blocks, no effects, but now here's the big push. Monstrous Rage. Second trigger. So, of course, that will give 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 power on our Slick Shot show-off here. Maybe? Is my math right? No, it's a 1, 2 already, so 8 power? Let's see, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 power. And then, of course, our monk coming across. Ooh, big beats, big beats. Yeah, so they're checking the math here to make sure everything's confirmed. But what should it have attacked? Now I'm missing it. But I'm pretty sure the way that we got through. Yeah, so we had one because it was 3 power when it started to attack. So it checks if it has greater power than 3, it cannot attack. So we were good. So we had, of course, our Bobble was the first trigger. Or did we place the Steel Cutter this turn? Now I'm all confuzzled. In the comments, let me know. Did we mess up the combat here? Is very likely. I think there was definitely moments in this match where not tracking whether or not Steel Cutter was able to trigger or do something like that. So.
Anything else? No. Untap. Upkeep.
All right, 0 cost artifacts are great. Ooh, mutagenic growth on the other side is not what you want to see. Because, again, those are those things where it's like, oh, okay, if they've got 1 power, I could swing in with this 1 power creature and then make it really big. Now, with the kind of course aura attached to it, it does get a little bit more power, so that we got to kind of reduce our hand size to help us kind of put a block on that and stop on that. Looks like we're just going to do some floating. We're going to try to dump our hand here. Could have made a construct and had some blockers, but blockers don't really help against a flying bird wizard there, so you got to kind of work your way around it. So now we get into, okay, what tools can we get to help us? We could get more lantern control pieces, but actually it looks like we're going to go for more of a protection route, which is that Aether Spellbomb here. So, if you've seen some of the affinity stuff, that kind of is really good for kind of bouncing and help protecting us. Speaking of affinity, there's some new affinity lists that are putting in work and just like crazy about how much you can kind of dump and get like a Kappa Cannoneer on turn 1 or turn 2. We've got a bunch of games from that coming up. I want to say it was Esper Control versus Affinity, and the 2 players that played in that match were able to, of course, get their round done. And then they were like, yeah, let's just kind of grind and practice some games together. And I didn't get to see at the end how many games that they played, but we'll probably keep them all in because it's such a fast-paced game. All right, Glass Casket. I like Glass Casket a lot. I'm running a 2 of in my Lantern list. Just, there are moments where you go, oh, okay, what creatures can we kind of deal with? Emery is one of those, especially when... that Jeskai Narset, Jeskai Ascendancy decks were a little bit more popular. The Glass Casket was really good for helping to kind of deal with that. All right, down to 1 card. Preordain, okay. But at least with the Monk there, we don't have to worry about taking too much damage from that. But yeah, what's your top card? What's your top card? That's kind of the be prepared. Now, Lantern Control is a ton of fun to pilot. I enjoy it so much. It is a big puzzle and thinking and planning. It is not a deck for people to just kind of pick up and learn if you are new to Modern, because there's so much that you have to kind of just have background knowledge and information and go, okay, do I care about that? What does this card actually do for you? How does that actually impact the kind of not only this turn, but the following turns afterward, and kind of understanding how each of the decks work? It makes it like, that much easier to be able to pilot. But if you don't have that knowledge, it becomes that much more of a challenge to sit here and navigate and kind of go, well, it's like, oh, I don't know. Like, I haven't played with this deck or played against this deck. So there's that challenge of going, what do I focus on and target, and how do I mill and filter and all those kind of nuances there. All right, Dragon Rage Channeler coming out. Triggers. That is the 2nd spell this turn. Yeah, then we're tracking. It's 1 prowess for him.
You've had 1 non-creature spell played. Yeah. So. You have Delirium. I think
Doing a quick Delirium check as well, because that does make a difference for things. At least we'll know, like, with the kind of Surveil trigger, we'll know what is being debated on. And that does give a little bit of a potential of like, okay, maybe we can try to fight and put stuff in the graveyard, but really it's not like Surveil doesn't actually combat and stop the like Codex Shredder adventures that exist for the Lantern Control player. Now there's only 1, right? But at this point we're starting to kind of set ourselves up into a lockout situation here. Oh, and then there's Whir of Invention coming up next. Yeah, so like you can see, all right, we're going to go completely hellbent. We're in that, like we talked about, lockout mode, where you're like, there's nothing that you could draw, probably main board, that will help you. I have no cards in hand. Yes, I'm at 8. Maybe you have something in hand that helps you, but with the Welding Jar to protect the... Ensnaring Bridge, we don't have to worry about that. All right, Slick Shot Show Off coming up.
Please don't move my top card.
But yeah, it's like in this mode of going, all right, I've got an Aether Spellbomb to bounce anything any creature we don't like. Another Swift Spear we don't really care about. But yeah, this is the other thing where a lot of players will play against a Lantern Control list and go, okay, do they stay in the game longer than necessary? Sometimes, because they don't realize that they are locked, right? We've kind of set up this kind of machine now that goes, it's going to be a slow trickle. Eventually we'll get pieces and tools we need to get you or kind of show you that you're dead. But like as of right now, saying I have all of these different pieces out, the ensnaring bridge, the lantern, the codex shredder, the welding jar, the aether spell. Like we're set up here that you can't really interact with our board. So I think that is one thing to kind of, you know,
And I'm gonna have to
I don't know if there's a better way to kind of be like, hey, you know, I think maybe it should fall on the lantern control players, but it also kind of feels a little bit like, hey, I guess it's like a check-in, right? Hey, do you have artifact removal? Do you have a way to get out of this situation? Because if not, we could just go to game 2 and try to speed things up. I mean, there's a bolt in hand, but
What are you at? 8?
the likelihood that a lightning bolt is going to get drawn, and really you have to get 2 more lightning bolts, or a lightning bolt and,
How many cards do
I mean, how, like, a bunch of lava darts, like, it's, I don't know, it's, yes, technically there are outs, but it is not really a moment where you're like, okay, you know, Izzet Prowess is not known for running like a Flame of Anor main board or anything like that. It doesn't really run Flame of Anor at all. There's better stuff that it runs and stuff like that. So, all right, so we make a slight mistake here with this Word of Invention. Because it's got that improvise,
Come on now.
we are set in this weird spot where we should be keeping some blue mana up. And so we tap out here, but really we like improvise 1, but we could, like, we've got so many other artifacts we could tap here. So we need at least 3 blue. Yep. But like the Spire of Industry, or, you know, I think the Spire of Industry is fine to keep untapped there. Like that way, because now we don't have access to the Thopter Foundry we just tutored up. Because we have Glass Casket, we've got the Ensnaring Bridge, so we've got a lot of things we could tap here. But by, this leaves a window of like almost a moment. If something scary was going to happen, this would be the scary moment, right? Because we can't activate our Aether Spell Bomb, we can't activate our Thopter Foundry, but that shows you just sort of the game plan here. Now there is a stock up on top, so maybe that's a window of being like, oh, maybe they'll get 2 cards in their hand, or they'll have 1 card and I could just swing in with everything and kill them. Unlikely. All right, stock up there, we draw it, you find a land and any 1 or 2 cost artifact, and you're set. And when you're running 4 lanterns, 4 codex, like there's a lot of artifacts that cost 1 or less. Glass caskets and things like that. So, but yeah, more creatures coming out here. And then plus next turn, even if there were to be cards kept in hand, like we can't play the last 1 card in our hand, we probably will have 2 mana available to use our Thopter Foundry to create 2 Thopters, gain some life, make some blockers. Like, so there's definitely that kind of spot.
Until you've already attacked. If you haven't attacked and you trigger your prowess beforehand, they won't be able to attack.
All right, so that was the breakdown saying, hey, you have a bunch of 1/1 monks. So right now you can't attack because I have 0 cards in hand. If you were to cast one of your cantrips, your preordains, your Mishra Baubles, your expressive iterations, if you're casting any of those before combat and they became 2/2s, you could then not attack if I had 1 card in hand. So it's basically, we're breaking down that kind of lockout mode, which I guess we could have talked about a little bit earlier, but we do have that discussion in this match of like, hey, this is that moment where there's not really anything that you can do. You have 1 card in hand that's a mystery that I don't know what it is, that you got off of expressive iteration. And now we find out it is a lightning bolt. Okay, down to 5. But the deck is not designed, like, Lantern Control does have the way to like make a bunch of creatures and win. What we see with like we've added in the Thopter combo, Urza Saga, Thopter combo, Urza Lord High Artificer, and Sword of the Meat combo in here, in addition to just the Lantern Control pieces.
I don't have anything else.
going to be really hard because you're right. Any lightning bolts that you have coming up, I can make you mill.
Yeah, so here's the breakdown and the discussion of our prowess play and saying, I don't think there's anything I can do to win here. And it's like, yeah, it's going to be really hard. Codex Shredder, I'll see whatever you've got coming up, and we'll just kind of mill it off. And so the decision is made to go to game 2 there. So 20 minutes for game number 1. We, of course, had our sideboarding stuff that took a little while that it gets cut out. But this is definitely going to be a challenge going into game 2. We're going to have to rely on speed as a prowess player to try to get an aggressive hand that can get us there before the ensnaring bridge lands and stops things. But 2 steel cutters in hand is definitely a way to kind of burst down and go for the speed here. So let's see what happens. And a mutagenic as well. So yeah, this could be pretty scary. Steam vents tapped, so no turn 1 swift spears or anything like that. No Dragon Rage channelers. And let's do some cheeky peeking at what the top is. We got a dispatch coming up, which is if we have Metalcraft, it turns into an exile effect. Otherwise, it turns into a tap effect. So you can either tap a creature there, kind of put a stop to whatever big prowess thing could come the way, or we could exile something if need be. Ooh, Slick Shot Show Off coming up. So my Lantern list, of course, does not run the Mox Opals and stuff. I feel like if you're going to run the Mox Opals, you should play Affinity or one of the more powerful decks. You don't need them in the Lantern control list. It's not necessary. All right, Bobble triggers our monks coming out. All right, of course, that second spell being a Bobble is also nice because you do get to potentially draw some cards and do some battling out over a potential mill effects if there was a Codex Shredder, but there's the 2 coming across. Ooh, Kappa Cannoneer. All right, Urza Saga coming. All right, Codex Shredder number 1. Now, do we go for a dispatch? All right, milling that. Oh, another steel cutter.
How many cards do you have in hand?
4 cards in hand. So here's the debate. We have the Lantern of Insight, and you can use it to shuffle away a top card if need be. So we've the joke was, oh, you've got 2 lanterns, so we got to look at the top 2 cards now. Sadly, that's not how that works. But lanterns there, we show top card with the Bobbles trigger there, and it says, hey, I've got this Kappa Cannoneer on top. So draw, and then we do get to see what is drawn for turn because the library is always revealed. So draw for Bobble, draw for turn. Ooh, mutagenic. All right, Spire Bluff Canal. So we've got 2 steel cutters here. So steel cutter number 2 coming. And if the goal is to go fast, this is a great way to do it. All right, let's see how much damage we can do this turn.
I'm gonna pay 2.
All right, paying 2 for the mutagenic on our existing prowess creature. Of course, we do have 1 prowess trigger for it. And then that is the second spell, so we get 2 more monks. Move that one there, and then create 2 more over there. So 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Is that correctly? Let's see. 1 prowess, so it's 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, wow.
Then I'm gonna move to combat.
You may commence with combat.
I'm gonna swing for 1, 2, 3, 4. This is 5, 6, 7, 8. I think that's
I'll
right.
go to 10.
Oh, and I messed up the math and put myself a 9. Man, I was having a field day with this editing there. I don't know what distractions I had going on at the same time, but I should be at 10. We should be at 1 extra life. Will it make a difference? Oh, we have knocked on a land though. Do we need one? We'll see. Lots of big stuff in hand. So do we have the ensnaring bridge? We've got a Kappa Cannoneer here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We could play a Kappa Cannoneer. But if we do, we wouldn't be able to mill that mutagenic. And I feel like we need to mill the mutagenic.
Please be a spell underneath this.
So mutagenic gets milled. Oh, pick your poison. Okay. I mean, that's annoying, but we could also... So this also leaves us with the option to make a construct in response to the pick your poison if our opponent was going to try to make a sack an enchantment.
I'm gonna play the Wooded Foothills.
All right, Wooded Foothills. They'll fetch to get a green source. Yeah, so the options are target opponent sacrifice creature with flying, target opponent sacrifices an artifact, target opponent sacrifices an enchantment. They pick one of those, or you pick one of those modes, and then they pick what they sacrifice. So I think the enchantment option, because Urza Saga is both a land and enchantment, makes a lot of sense of what to, keeps your opponent off of a land, gets them even further behind, and it kind of disrupts what they're doing. Because basically they're going to, if you kill one of the Urza Sagas here, the one that has 1 counter is probably going to go away. And then next turn, the other one will go away, and they'll be left with 1 land. Like, I don't know. I think that's the anytime that you can kill an Urza Saga, you should try to prioritize killing it. But don't, jump through too many hoops if it is too difficult. But in this case of, pick your poison, right, the artifacts that are out aren't as relevant. So we do cast that. We get the reveal of the top card, which is a Swift Spear, because that can also help impact things. But the choice for this one is the picking an artifact, which is kind of that sigh of relief of going, oh, okay, cool. I have 2 Lanterns of Insight. We can get rid of one of those and not have to worry here.
Okay, I'll sacrifice this Lantern of Insight.
Okay.
So that's 1 prowess trigger.
I think I did this wrong.
Oh, we did this in the wrong order. But yeah, you look, there's another steel cutter that we should have played first. But looks like our prowess player was just very excited about the pick your poison and be like, cool, I gotta interact with your board a little bit. But there's another steel cutter. So that should have been another trigger there, but even so, that is a second non-creature spell. So that's 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So even with the blocking, we are at 10 there, but that's exact. So we block 1, go to 2 life. Do we recover from that? I mean, we get another creature or something like that, but it's a 3/3 creature. We block 1, kill 1. Maybe we could be able to, yeah, you see the kind of the math finger tapping. We decide to scoop it up and go to game 3.
We only have 10 minutes left.
And we found out we've only got 10 minutes left in this round. Now you see it's we're down to, what are we at, 20 some minutes into this video, 28 right now, 29. So it's oh, okay, that's how much dead space. I say dead space for the editing, but that's how much of the sideboarding and that setting up and getting ready and do all that stuff that blind mill of a meltdown is very much a great hit. But did you guys catch that in the Izzet Prowess player's hand? There already is a meltdown, so they're not even worried. Okay, how explosive. The explosiveness worked out great in game 2. And here is a Swift Spear. So we're going to go and push for damage. And there's a mutagenic, so it looks like we might even just go ham here. Bang, bang, bang. Here is 4 damage coming off at the start. Dropping to 16.
Start your turn.
Okay, there's an Orim's Chant in hand. Codex Shredder, the Blind Mill is pretty good. No Lantern at the moment. Maybe there's one in hand. Glimmer Void. Oh. So, Glimmer Void taps for 1 mana of any color. If you control no artifacts, you can sacrifice it. So we're going to dump the hand, another Codex Shredder, and an Aether Spell Bomb. And we're going to mill 2 cards there. Boom, boom, boom. Slick Shot going away is pretty nice. Glimmer Void is a dangerous and risky card to run. It is, of course, there are those indestructible lands that are also artifacts, and those are run in the list. But there are moments where a Meltdown or a Wrath of Skies comes out that could blow up your entire board, and you go, oh, I also lose a land. And speaking of that, we're about to see it happen here with this Meltdown about to be cast, or X equals 1. So any artifact that costs 1 or less is about to be in the graveyard here. Yep, there it is. Meltdown, destroy each artifact with mana value of X or less. In this case, X equals 1. So we get to lose all of the artifacts, which is really tough. You're sitting here in game 3 and like, oh, okay. And you see the Glimmer Void still there. We do make that correction later on. Don't worry. Will it be impactful? No.
And I have no effect.
All right, 2 damage coming across. Great way to kind of progress things. There we go. There it says, oh, this is gone too, sadly. Oh, dang. Down a land. Down a whole board, actually. All right, let's do some Glass Casket. It's the check of how many cards are left in your hand. Okay, not too many. I think we just got to try to go for it and get that away at this point. All right, Corey Steel Cutter and a Dragon Rage Channeler here. There's Steel Cutter number 1. We also have a Bolt. You can just kind of bolt face if you really wanted to as well. But I don't know. I like the Dragon Rage Channeler. So I like the Dragon Rage Channeler for the follow-up of next turn. If we bolt, we get the Surveil trigger. We get the extra prowess that goes on the monk. Like where the Dragon Rage Channeler doesn't increase the monk's power there. So again, it's just little nuanced sequencing things that come along with certain decks, like the prowess one. That it is very important about in what order you decide to start doing things. But that's still a good chunk of damage here. All right, active player turn 0 has been called. Response to the upkeep. Let's Orim's Chant and say, hey, this is your turn 1. You may draw a card, you may play a land, but you may not cast any spells.
I can't play anything else.
So that, like, Orim's Chant is an amazing card. And if you've never battled against someone that is like the Esper control players that are going Snapcaster, Orim's Chant, and just Orim's Chanting you again and again and again, it's a feel bad moment for sure. But Thopter Foundry going to try to get deployed here. Scalding Tarn. How much damage can we do here? Dragon Rage Channeler. Now, see, this is the other thing. If Dragon Rage Channeler had been played instead of the Bolt before, we could have attacked with the Dragon Rage Channeler this turn. All right, Mutagenic Growth going to go on our lovely little Prowess creature. We, of course, trigger because this is the second spell. So 4, 5, 6.
2, 3, 4, right?
Yep.
I'm gonna move to combat.
Mental combat. I have no blocks, no effects.
Ooh, okay. Yep. Dropping our lander control player down to 3. Turn 4. Last turn for our lander control player. Still one more turn left for our prowess player. So the question is, can they survive Can they set themselves up to get a tie, a 1-1-1, or are they losing here?
I mean, I don't know what.
Prowess says, I think I've got you here. And that's the thing, too, right? You look at it and go, this does not look like a winnable spot. A Lantern of Insight. Let's see what we've got. Okay, now that is a way to just make sure we lose. Lava Dart on top is not what you want to see. So now you're left with, we cannot let this Lava Dart resolve. We can't, because think about it like this. Lava Dart draw gets there. That's automatically 2 damage there, excluding any of the creatures there. So we have to have a way to deal with these creatures and hope that there is not a way to, not any burn spells. Or, yeah, there's got to be no burn spell on top and no instant or sorcery on top. Basically, no way to trigger Prowess. As long as there's no burn spell and no way to trigger Prowess, we survive.
Nope, we do not anymore. I'll pass turn.
All right, have you figured out how to stay alive? Let's see, do we live? Okay, Dragon Rage Channeler on the top. Play it. That's no Prowess triggers, but we have a 3/3 that has to attack, a 1/1 Monk, and a 2/2 Trample Monk. So that is, you're looking at it, you're like, well, that's lethal no matter what. Instant, sorcery, land, creature.
Alright, I have a response blockers.
Before blockers, we'll sacrifice this glass casket to our Thopter Foundry. Make a 1/1 Thopter, gain 1 life. This will come back, but we're already in combat. But like after the attacker is declared, block this 3/3, take 3, go to 1, and we get a tie.
1/1/1. What? This is turn 5. No more turns.
Oof. Oh man, so that was so close. So we somehow snuck it out and we're able to tie it. And again, just like little nuanced things of sequencings that we're catching now looking back. And that's the big important thing of why we watch these and record up, because we get to find these moments of going, oh, okay, this little nuanced sequencing thing of like, if we played our Dragon Rage Channeler earlier, we would have been able to have attacked earlier and we would have like won that game there. But like still had access to dispatch, so maybe not necessarily, because we could have like tapped a creature or done stuff. So not guaranteed a win, but could have definitely had an impact on there. But the Orim's Chant, we get to see a little bit of what the sideboard options are. 2 dispatch, an Orim's Chant, and then of course 2 extra welding jars, which we saw why we need the welding jars. Pick your poisons, 2 meltdowns. So we got to see all 3 of the sideboard cards that series there. So very, very cool, very exciting stuff. Hope you guys enjoyed that one there. Of course, we do have some more gameplay coming up again every Monday and Thursday, but that's going to do it for this episode. Thanks so much for tuning in and watching, everyone, and I'll see you all next game.